What's up, everybody? Welcome to Beyond the Panel, and today we are reviewing Project Superpowers number 6. Up to this point, I would have said that the first Masks book from Dynamite was my favorite team book. Now that might have to change to Project Superpowers. Who would have thought that a group of outdated heroes like this could pull you in and make this a story worth investing your time in? As a reader who knew nothing about these heroes before jumping in, it says a lot that I could find myself willing to see this through to the end without the need to know their life stories. Imani and Masquerade for this finale stole the show for the final confrontation, for everyone being uplifting and the in-depth approach to this story. Let's start with Imani. This is a character who impressed me from the very first scene where they decided that she should be the host for the Spirit of the American flag. Everything after that became understanding what made her so worthy at a time like this, and that became clear for numerous reasons because of the previous issue and this one. Her development was captivating through every opportunity that was taken to establish what it means to be a hero. Not only that, but a hero in a world where there was no reason to have them yet. I mean, as Masquerade kept saying, this future that they got transported to, there's no black or white anymore. There's just too much gray where they operate. You don't know what's good, what's bad, what's proper for a superhero. Everything about her actions filled these pages with hope, and it was endearing to see what a kid could bring to the table where the adults were lacking. I actually didn't mind the focus on the fact that she was a kid. In most cases, this would be a quick negative for me, but this creative team dodged every troublesome cliche. I mean, you don't know how many times when a creative team will try to shove a kid into a story and they will do the exact things you know that are predictable. They will create trouble. They will cause trouble. They'll probably be used as some plot device to get your favorite character into trouble. Probably the way your hero dies will be because of that kid, and it will just make no sense. As for Masquerade, it was hard to ignore the power that went into her dialogue. From the start of this story, she was the center of attention for the perspective she had taken to the world around her, one where she didn't think they would fit or belong because it wasn't a world she recognized. Bringing her to this point of reminder in what she does and why was empowering. Imani's hope reached her, and from there, you could see how formidable these older heroes could be when they were motivated by the admirable persistence we treasure from our favorite heroes. The only issue I may have had with this story was the cliche villain moment when they have victory in their grasp and they simply milk the time before it's actually absolute. I mean, I love Pandora. He's a great villain, but but it was just that one moment where where he's practically won, and they just did that whole thing where he just drags it out, monologuing, kind of just soaking in the fact that he's winning, and you just know, and you know he's not gonna win, but you also kind of just sit there wondering, okay, well, when is he going to fulfill his plan? Because it's not like he isn't surrounded by a bunch of heavy hitting heroes who aren't about to come at him again unless he kills them. But that aside, seeing how this was the last issue, it's not too hard to believe that they weren't trying to add a whole new layer of trouble to the mix. However, that didn't quite change the fact that you would still sit there wondering, what is he waiting for? Aside from that, Pandora was a memorable villain for the way that he pushed these heroes to their limit. He was overpowered to an extent, but that only means that the heroes would have to work that much harder to fight smarter. That made the execution of the final clash so thrilling. It was a plan to topple Pandora that you didn't see coming till it did. This issue was some of the best work that this art team produced for the finale. Normally, with the final confrontation, there's always worry about how much action you will see and how much of it will be clear to you. This issue was no exception when the setting was a city risen to the skies. In other words, rubble, moving landscapes, which add a lot to what's already going on visually. Fortunately, we have artists who are able to handle this amount of work without being overwhelmed. They didn't let the quantity of all these little things going on really affect what they were supposed to be focusing on. So when it came to the characters who are in perspective, all of them were there fully rendered. No one was really just sitting there as some blob or blotch. What contributed to this success was the perspective taken with each scene. This made a big difference with key actions, expressions, even showing just how imposing Pandora could be for his size. I mean, even Samson's a pretty big dude, and Pandora is just a godlike entity who just towers him. He could probably just punt him and he'd be gone. Actually, I'm pretty sure he did. Either that or it was a backhand in the previous issue. But either way, size size made a big difference. The issue before, the highlight of this finale was all the effort put into bringing out the spectacle of the spirit of the American flag. There's so much to enjoy about the way that this flag wraps around an individual, flows around them, not to mention the way that the pattern weaves through the folds, as in you ca- as in Amani could grab something and you can see the way the stripes or the stars wrap around said object, and you can believe that if you unfolded it and refolded it, that's exactly how it should look. It takes some patience and understanding the placement to pull this off consistently, and they did it. At the end of the day, for most of us, it is easy to also compare the visual appeal of the flag to Cloak from Marvel, because there's just a lot of tricks that Amani shows that she's able to do with this flag, and it's just hard not to see Cloak in that same position. But yeah, that's also probably what I loved most on the surface when it came to the introduction of the spirit of the American flag, because this book in general is my first introduction to this character, or sentient piece of cloth. I guess that's what you would call it. Either way, Project Superpowers number 6 delivered on one heck of a final stand. These days, it's hard to get a superhero story with this much heart, while at the same time focusing on more than one hero. This book one was memorable for everything that reminds us of what it means to be a superhero, capes or no capes. The way that this book ends, I do actually hope for more, and I do hope Dynamite doesn't miss this opportunity to give fans something that could probably actually do better than Mask Volume 2, or even what was that other one? There was another Dynamite book that's just like this, but I don't think it did well with the Volume 2. But I hope that I hold out hope that this one can actually do a lot better with a Volume 2, because Rob Williams is no stranger to team books like this. He just came off of Suicide Squad, and that was a pretty solid book from start to finish, a good 50 issues.